What's up, everybody? We're doing some front calipers on a 07 GMC Sierra. The same thing as Silverado 1500. Same thing for a couple different vehicles. We're going to start off with a 19 millimeter on the back of the caliper. I'm going to try to give you all your sizes. So we're changing this caliper. Let's get it done and over with. All right, we got 11 millimeter or 7/16 on the brake hose. Just give that a little zip. Now these brake hoses, the washer will stick to them. The washer's stuck onto the bolt, so I'll take some vice grips and clamp onto that copper washer. And that'll take that copper washer off. We don't need this banjo bolt no more because the new caliper comes with one. We grab that 19 and we'll give these bolts a little zip. New caliper came with mounting bracket, so we don't need these suckers either. Just get those zipped right out. Take the screwdriver in the slot of the rotors. Get that rotor to push back just a little bit for us so we can take the caliper right off. Now we're reusing these brake pads. We're just changing the caliper, so we'll slide those out of there real easily. These ones are pretty rusted, so I'm going to clean up the ears and the backs on my wire wheel before I reinstall them on the new mounting bracket. We got a 18 millimeter on the mounting bracket bolts. Gonna use a little extender so we can get to the top one. Oh, she's rusty. There we go, top one's out. You gotta have that extender if you're using an impact. Here we go, mounting bracket's out. Perfect. Now we got our new caliper, and we gotta disassemble this in two pieces. Just take our 19 millimeters and zip these out. I'll do that on the ground real fast. Grab my hardware out of here. It's like jammed into the inside of the caliper. Kind of weird. One and two. Set those down. So we got our new mounting bracket. Caliper came with new hardware. Open this package up and get this hardware on here. The hardware snaps in. I'll show you. Snaps in real easily on these. There we go. We got the shiny chrome looking hardware in there. We'll grab our mounting bracket bolts. Get this mounting bracket on. Make sure you get these bolts nice and tight. There we go. Back to our 18 mil. Nice and tight. Sweet. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wire wheel these brake pads real quick. Go ahead and skip forward if you want to. There we go. Pretty rusty, so kind of needed that. I'm going to put a little bit of brake grease on these ears of the brake pads because they're pretty rusty. That's just going to help out a little bit. Keep them from locking into the new hardware. Rust build up, you know. Alright, now we're going to take our sliders out. These slide bolts. I'm going to put a little bit of high temp silicone based brake grease in there. And the grease, these come pre-greased, but it's with some cheap grease. I prefer this Sil Glide. So we'll get a little grease on there. Bada boom. They're all greased up. Now our inside pad is going to have this squealer tab on it. A little tab on the brake pad right here. It's going to be our inside pad. Rotors look decent for the surface, except for right on this inside there's a lip. Don't like that much. Slide it into the top groove first. It's kind of hanging down a little bit. There we go. She's in there. Put a little grease just on the ear of the brake pad. Yeah, wire wheel just the ear. It was just built up with rust. And the backing plate of the pad. Backing plate was real rusty. Just these pads still have more than 50% life. The reason we're changing these calipers is the bleeder screws were nearly rotted off. We had to change a brake line. And yeah, I was like, we should just throw some new calipers on here. I could try torching, extracting them or something, but it's really not worth the time. You know? Alright, now it's time to get our caliper over our pads. Let's grab this caliper up. Then we gotta press in our sliding hardware so that it fits around it. And we'll grab our 2 new bolts that came with the new caliper, line them up. And we had the 19 mil on those. Those nice and tight. Bada boom. Here's our new banjo bolt and washer in the box. You put 1 copper washer on the banjo bolt. And we'll send it through. Do not cross thread these. There we go. Alright. That's the way it lines up. Alright, get your other copper washer on the other side of the banjo bolt. Or brake hose. Make sure it's lined up, threading in smooth. We'll grab our 11mm or 7/16, whichever one you got handy. All those lug nuts were 22 mil or 7/8, in case you needed to know that. So we got to get this tight enough to smush the copper washers to seal, not so tight that you strip out the threads inside the caliper. Always check for brake leaks afterwards. Now we got to pop our cover off of our brake bleeder, and we've got a 10mm wrench here. And we'll open up that bleeder screw, and these brakes will actually gravity bleed by themselves for a while. If you redid a line like I did, you might have to have a scanner to do a ABS bleed on it if you just can't get all the air out and you know you don't have a bad master cylinder or anything. But yeah, sometimes you have to do a scanner bleed on these. And yeah, so we're gonna bleed the brakes. Calipers are on. So after we bleed the brakes up, we'll put the tires back on. That's how you replace the caliper. Make sure you bleed them real good. We need to press the brake pedal to prime the brake pads against the rotor before you take off. All right, so don't forget to do that. And that should do it. Pretty easy job. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.